joining me today on St Albans Lakes Complex again. Today I'm on peg 2 of the Match Lake, but the reason I've come today is to put one of the new ignition rods that retails, the 10-foot feeder that I've got, the 10-foot carp feed, and that retails at $54.99, and on that rod I'm putting the budget reel 2, a 320 Inertia, and that is loaded with 8-pound sinking feeder motto. First, I'm going to get some bait booster and add it to the lake water. I've just taken from the lake. Add a little bit of boost, just gives you a little bit of an edge against other people. Don't need a lot. It's enough, and I'm just going to mix that round with my whisk, just so it goes all through the water and dilutes completely. There we go, and as you can see, it's mixed in the water thoroughly. Today I'm going to be using my favourite fish meal groundbait of all time, which is Sonia Bait's 50/50 method and paste green. So I'm just going to put a generous helping of that, 2/3 of a bag, into my bucket, and then I'm going to add the water that we've just mixed into that. I'm then going to give that a good stir with my whisk. You can see that is stodgy and wet. I'm going to leave that 20 minutes now to absorb all the water, and that should make it perfect when I come back. If not, I'll just add a little bit more water. But that's going to be my groundbait mix for today. So I've left that 20 minutes now, so I'm just going to run my whisk through it again. Get right into all the corners. This new whisk is fantastic. The square whisk allows you to get right in the corners. I'm just going to chuck that on my riddle. Now give that a riddle through. That is a 4mm riddle I'm putting through there. Just push them lumps through. Beautiful. There we go. Lovely and fluffy. Perfect for moulding around your method feeder. Beautiful. And keeping it really simple, I'm just going to fish the method for most of the day, tight over to the far bank. I've still got some 2mm Pro Feed pellets that I put in water overnight last night, put them in a bag in my fridge, took them out this morning, they're absolutely perfect, so no hardship getting your pellets right. And on the band or the bandom, I'm going to have either a 10, 6 or 8mm fluoro wafter, and I've also got some white chocolate pop-ups because I know they've been catching a few fish on the bread recently. So maybe I'll put one of them on a longer hook length on. And then to finish that off, I've got a few red maggots as a change of hook bait. And that's all I'm going to do today. So I'm going to fish across. Also, I'm going to feed a sneaky few balls of ground bait down the edge to my left and see if I can nick a few big carp, because I do catch a few big carp later on this venue. Some big carp down the edge later on in the day. So I'm set up and I'm ready to go now, but before I actually start fishing I need to get the distance. So all it is, it's really simple. I've got a simple inline ICS system on there, and rather than put a feeder on at the start, I'm going to need to use a cube, 45 gram cube, to get me distance. As you've just seen, I've just cast out and set me clip just fishing under that pipe on the far bank, and I know that's a good area on this swim, so I'm going to concentrate fishing there. But what is really important, and you might not think it is, it's really important that you wrap up and count how far your distance is on measuring sticks, because there's nothing worse than halfway through the day, if you get broken off or a fish breaks your line or you go in a snag, you then spend 10 minutes re-chucking a bomb to get your distance, and it would spook your fish. So it doesn't take 5 minutes. Get up, get your measuring stick sorted and measure that distance on your sticks. So I've been fishing now for about half an hour, 40 minutes. I've not had a fish yet, but I've had an indication every cast. And the far bank, I'm chucking tight against underneath the pipe, but it is a steep slope over there. It's not very flat. It's making me think maybe I need to come a little bit off that far bank. I'm going to persevere, keep putting a little bit of bait in. I've got my stopwatch and I'm recasting every 10 minutes. But I've not had a proper bite yet, which I'd consider to be a proper bite yet. But it's early days. I know these swims down here can get better as the day goes on. There's no one else on the lake today. And I can see some fish topping to my right in front of pegs 4 and 5. I'm not going to move, but I do think that the fish will move down eventually. So I'll just stick at it. And hopefully we'll catch a few for the cameras later on. Rod down low, stops the fish going crazy. He's plodding, might be a better fish. Ooh, right underneath my teeth. Come up. Go. Come on, ready, shut. Oh, fully scaled mirror. Look at that, beautiful. Oh, cracker. All of 6-7 pounds. Oh, look at that. God. What a beauty. Oh, you can see an indication there now. So there's definitely some fish there now. Let's see if I can keep you on and see if I can get a bite whilst the camera's rolling. There we go, that's been out there 3 minutes and 20 seconds and the rod's ripped off the rest. Just keeping that rod down nice and low. And just pumping the fish steadily. It's very deep in front of me, right in the middle of this little bit here. It's almost in a horseshoe shape, the lake here. It just drops down. It's ever so deep. The fish just come off that far bank and go into the deeper water. These rods feel amazing, I've got to say. £54 for a rod and it feels like this, amazing. Fantastic action. There we go, a lovely little mirror carp. Oh, he weren't having none of that. He decided he didn't want to come in then. There we go, look at that in the clear water. What a fantastic fish. Beautiful. Oh, cracking fish, look at that. It's got to be 5-6 pound again. Cracking fish down here. That was on an 8mm pink wafter. So let's have an in-depth look at my rig. It's pretty simple really. It's just a free running 45 gram ICS feeder with a small length of probably 5 inches of twizzled boom onto a quick change adapter. And the reason I've got the twizzled boom on there is just to give it a little bit of strength, you know, that gets a batter when you catch a fish and it's banging against the line. So it's just a little bit of extra strength. And on the business end, got a size 12 MCMB with a bayonet. Now I'm just going to quickly show you the best way to load this feeder, because bear in mind the ICS has got a big gap in the middle, so it's really important that you make sure that your hook bait goes in the centre. So when you're laying it in, just make sure that's in the middle. Fill it with your pellets, as mine's dusted Profi micros. Just give it a gentle push down with your finger. Now, this is really important. When you lay it in there, in the mould, just push it gently. Now, don't push your mould together like this. What you need to do is grab it by the 2-bit leaves on the side like that and push it through like that. Because if you push it from that end, you're eventually sticking it to the quick release. So now I've done that, just push that with my hand and it comes out perfectly moulded. And I'm just going to give that a little squeeze, and it's as simple as that. The hook bait is in the middle, your hook length is coming out from the bottom of the feeder, which is exactly how you want it. We're in again, and that has got 3 minutes 12 seconds on the clock, on the stopwatch. Feels like a nice fish, just plodding slowly. Keeping the rod down low makes the fish come up in the water. To hold the rod up in the air makes the fish go down. So it sort of confuses them. If we keep the rod down low, it confuses the fish, and they seem to wallow and kite rather than try and make a beeline for the bottom, hence towards any snags. It's lovely seeing these fish come to the surface in this clear water. Just below my feet now. Oh, it's not quite ready yet. Happy days. Come on, baby. Come to Westy. Oh, that'll be the cormorant scarer then. Oh, he's angry, this one. Oh, come on, girl. Let's get him up. Come on. Oh, come on. Look at that beauty. Oh, what a cracker. Oh. A quick look on my tray. So I've got 2mm Profi micros, dusted with a little bit of 50-50 green, some 50-50 green at the end, some red maggots, you go. Your fluoro wafters from Sonyu, and some washed out wafters there, 10 mils from Sonyu. I've been catching quite a few on the pink ones. I've had a couple on orange, but most of my fish have come on the pink 10 mil washed out. So yeah, it's good so far. Oh, and obviously my stopwatch, which is great. So the bites have been coming anywhere between 3 and 6 minutes. So it's been good. I've had 8 fish so far. Just carry on, try and catch a few more. Fishing such a heavy feeder against such steep banks caused most of the bites to end up being dropbacks. That. Perfect. Making sure your feeder lands in the same spot every time is paramount. So it's about 2 o'clock now, and I've caught probably 12 or 13 carp over there against the pipe. But now I'm going to start feeding bait down its margin. Do catch a few big fish down here later on in the day, but if you catch one, it'll be a big one, it'll be double figures. So I'm just going to throw a couple of balls of ground bait in, and I'm going to give it half an hour, then I'm going to drop my feeder over on top of that. So I've left it for an hour. I'm now going to drop this down the edge and see if I can get a bite down against this tree. Now I've dropped it down there, but I'm going to fish a really slack line. Have to excuse the cormorant scare, I'm afraid. So I'm just going to fish that really slack. I'm going to put my mount in reverse on. I'm just going to lighten off my clutch. Because if you get a bite down here, it's going to be a big fish. And they pull so hard on the bite, it's ridiculous. So I'm just going to slack line it there. So I've got no line going direct to the feeder. The last 2 or 3 foot will be laying across the bottom leading up to the feeder, so that I'll get false bites from liners. But when you get a bite, you get a proper bite. So there's no was that a bite on this inside line. If you get a bite, it'll pull the rod off the rest. It's simple as that. So fingers crossed, we'll catch a couple of bigger fish down the edge. Now I'm in stealth mode, because I've just chucked that down the edge, and within 30 seconds I've had an indication there's a fish there. So hopefully we'll catch a couple of proper ones. Because Albans Lakes is no different to any other commercial. I know it's a really deep lake, but when everybody goes home at night, they throw their bait in down the edge. And I've caught some real big fish, 15, 16 pound, in the last half an hour of a match before. When the fish come in really close. I'm sorry, I keep looking at me tipping, so my rod don't get pulled in. But yeah, so fingers crossed, I'll have some big fish. Just had another liner. I've still not had a proper bite yet. It's been in the water about 6-7 minutes now. Normally, when you get an indication, you catch a fish quite quickly. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring it back out. I'm going to put a bright orange. I've got a pink waft on at the minute, 10mm. But I'm going to put a bright orange one on and see if that makes a difference. Also, what I'm going to do is keep throwing an odd ball of ground bait in over the top, because these fish are cruising backwards and forwards. If I can just get them to drop their heads down, maybe even throw a couple of balls of ground bait in, because it'll be the sort of signal that I'm throwing my balls of ground bait in at the end of a match. And them fish, that's a dinner bell for them bigger fish. They know it's happening. As the light starts to go, they know that it's as if people are packing up and they're throwing the food in. So many a time I've stayed on after the match and caught a couple of big fish doing that. So I'm going to change that hook bait now, and I'm going to chuck another couple of balls of ground bait and then drop my feeder back over the top. Well, it hasn't gone round yet on this inside line, but I've had another 2 indications, which means there's fish in the area. So what I think I might do is just have a chuck back over to the far side. It's about 3 o'clock, 3:15 now. I'm pretty confident I'll get one down the edge, but I might need to leave it another little while. But I'm getting indications. I can see me line moving. I'm going to have a chuck across now and see if I can catch another fish and come back on there again in about half an hour. It's looking like we might get a bit of rain, so I'm hoping it holds off. But them clouds are looking a little bit ominous, so fingers crossed it'll hold out to the end of the day and I can do a little bit more filming. Let's hope so. Well, it's about 10 to 4 now. I've not had a fish for probably an hour now. I've come down the edge. I'm getting liners over there against the far bank, but like when I first started this morning, getting liners but no proper bites. Did have a few people walk along the bank over there, because that's the causeway bank. And ever since they've been walking along there, I've hardly had a bite there. So I'm just going to come down the edge now for the last 25 minutes, half an hour, see if I can catch a big one for you, but I don't know. Fingers crossed we'll hopefully catch one down the edge. So today you've joined me at Albans Lakes, and the main purpose of today was to use the new ignition rods from Preston Innovations. I've used a 10-foot carp feeder and I've paired that up with a 320 Inertia, which is the budget range of reels as well. And I've got to say, it's been absolutely superb. Not at any time did I feel that that rod and reel were undergun for what I was doing today. I've fished at 36 metres against the far bank, and I've caught carp up to 8 to 9 pound fishing a method feeder. And the rod and reel has been absolutely superb. I hope you've enjoyed that video today, guys. I've certainly enjoyed being here on the bank at Albans. Great to get a few pulls, especially for some lovely carp. So stay safe everybody, and I'll see you on the bank sometime. Bye for now. Take care.